Hey everyone, Luke here. Very strange that I'm drinking some cola on a Mission Yosakura family. Oh yeah! Alright everyone, we are back! It is back! Dr. Freaking Stone! It is back! Oh, feels so good. Now, I know this is only a temporary thing because of the new one shot that came out, but let's be honest, not only will we have the one shot, but next week we have the Reuniting special. That's going to be so much fun to talk about. I'll probably do an extra special stream with some of the mods in Control Chaos like I did with Ann Arbor, Mr. Lucky Boy himself. We did one talking about several of the charts, but the big one was, of course, talking about Dr. Stone for an hour for an hour and a half. So yeah, we're going to be doing the Dr. Stone one shot. I'm also prepared for it because I've got my Senku shirt on as well. So yeah, I am prepared. I am prepared for this. Got the cola, got the shirt, got the hat, got the poster. Got the boxes for the figures. Which, by the way, more are coming. We've got Ryusui, Kaku, and Suika all upcoming, which I'm very excited about. And plus, tomorrow in America, Volume 22 is out, so you can bet that I am not waiting another month for it to come out in the UK. I'm just going to order it off Amazon USA, and just get it over here as soon as possible because it's the one with Suika's time skip in. I want that as soon as possible. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be doing this, which means that the Michio Sakura review will be coming out later on during the week, possibly on Thursday or on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever that comes out. But yeah, even though this is a one shot, what happens in this chapter it just raises so many questions that it's just like, is Inagaki preparing us for a sequel series? Because if he is, that would just be like uh, that would just be like Christmas and birthday 10 billion%, 10 billion times more of to put it in Senku's words. But yeah, never thought I'd be back here doing another Dr. Stone chat, a new one. And of course, like I've been saying, like even though it's been put on hold, the back catalogue, that is still going to happen at some point. I don't know why, but yeah, let's just talk about the chapter. So yeah, let's just call it what it is, chapter 233. Yeah, we'll just call it chapter 233 because it pretty much feels like the beginning of a new arc in the series. So yeah, we're just gonna call it that, and it's titled Terraforming. So yeah, you can pretty much tell where this is going. So yeah, we'll start off with the color page, which depicts Chrome, Ryusui, and Senku all with jet ski engines in the sky with the hot air balloon in the background. Obviously, a nod to the Reuniting special that's coming, which might be an hour long, so it might cover up until when they actually do make the balloon and it's flying through the sky. So yeah, that's something to look forward to, and I will be doing a video on that, talking about the difference between the anime and the manga when that comes. But yeah, let's just get started with the chat. So it opens up with Senku in the sea. Okay, wasn't expecting that, but I guess we'll go with it. But not only that, he's got a little bit of amnesia because it's like questioning like, where am I? What exactly happened? And just seeing Boichi's art style again, like I bet he probably missed this. He probably missed this. Just getting the chance to draw these characters again. And Inagaki himself just getting the chance to just write for these characters and get again. Which again, like I said, this might be leading into a sequel series. But anyway, so Senku is just like question where is like I'm all alone on the open sea, but that still doesn't explain this thing of why I can't actually remember what is actually going on. Which I like the fact that this is kind of like a reset, a soft reset of what happened at the beginning of the series, where Senku was alone. He had to build up from scratch. He's kind of having to do this again, but in the sea itself. And as we know, Senku is not the most physically capable when it comes to things like literally just walking is exhausting for him. Like, do you remember when Senku was just exhausted from walking up to where Mount Fuji was? Uh, Hokkaido, that was it. I was trying to remember the name of the place where they were actually where him, Taiju, and Yuzuriya were going. But yeah, so he continues by saying, "Oh, better start thinking because no one's coming to rescue. Civilization is undergoing it." Underwent the big reset because everything is seemingly back up and running, but they're advancing further along because if you remember at the end of the series they were building the time machine, and that gets brought up in this chapter, which is very glad that that wasn't just like a oh, Inagarki's going the science fiction route but not doing anything with it. No. We are going more beyond that in this chapter, which again gets the idea of like, yeah, he is building to a sequel series, and a lot of people are in denial about that, but come on guys, you want to see more Dr. Stone. Shonen OG, I know you do, especially want to see more Dr. Stone probably, and Party Jams, I know you're going to be watching this, so you guys do want to see more Dr. Stone, and as long as Inagaki can just deliver the goods and Bleach can deliver the amazing art style, I think we'll all be happening. And I feel like this is more like a test run because the time machine was just I think a bit controversial, so I feel like Inagaki's just testing the waters here of like, okay, will the audience accept this in Japan, and will I be able to actually get away with this? Because I feel like the problem with a sequel is that if Inagaki doesn't take a few risks, what is even the point of it? So yeah, you have to kind of do something radically different to be like, okay, this is going in a different direction, but it's still the same. It's still the same Dr. Stone goodness, just on a different scale, and we'll still have the whole scientific explanations or go into more scientific theories, which that's where science essentially starts with theories and actually proving them right. So yeah. So Senku continues on by saying, "I don't see land, so there's no point in swimming for it." And he's 10 billion percent sure that he hates the fire for this. So he's kind of on the idea of like, yeah, death is inevitable, but of course he's like, yeah, like I'm really gonna curl over and let that take me so easily. And he says, oh, and he flashes back to when he was like at the beginning of the series where he had like his makeshift science lab just after Taiju woke up, and he's saying rebuild civilization from scratch to get back to this point. He says, oh, it's now time to do some terraforming. So what if I'm lost at sea? Just gotta start from scratch again, and that gets me excited, and it gets me excited. Senku, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat here. Just the fact that you're basically starting again, but in a different location now. So it's interesting to see where you're actually going to go with this. But of course, the first problem that Senku has is that he's in the sea, and anyone who's been in the sea knows that it is colder than the average body of water that you get in your house. So yeah, Senku is most concerned about the fact that how long he actually has before his heat from his body is drained because of the ocean sea, before he starts feeling that before he starts feeling something on his body, and then he comes to the conclusion that it's actually oil. Now you see, I might have learned about this in high school, but at the same time, it's kind of something that I wasn't too familiar with, and the idea of that oil on your body can actually be used as an insulator. So yeah, getting back to what Dr. Stone is good at, teaching us things or giving us a refresher in mind as we get Mecha Senku again. So that is just something so exciting where he explains that compared to water, oil has low thermal conductives. Try chilling oil and water in the same temperature in your fridge, then stick a finger in each and the water will feel much colder. So yeah, Senku uses the oil to kind of heat up his body, which again, now that I think about it, it does make sense because oil is a flammable substance. So he starts thinking like, okay, there's got to be more clues about this. I've got some revival fluid, and I've only got enough for 3 people each. And oh, I've got the DIY earpiece that we made back on Cheshire. So a lot of callbacks in this chapter to previous events in the series, which is something that I always look forward to. It's always a treat for Dr. Stone friends when things actually get called back that were actually important and now actually coming back into the current present storytelling, which again I want to see more of if we do get this sequel series. So yeah, he uses this to find Kohaku. Now at first I was just like a bit confused of like, how did he find Kohaku from just this earpiece? But it turns out that the signal was actually coming from a life jacket beacon that she had on, which gets Senku's memory clicking of like, okay, I remember how we actually got in this situation, and every last detail as we cut to a plane where Taiju and Yuzuriya have been on their honeymoon, and Taiju's just like, oh, thank you everyone for coming on our honeymoon, and it's way more fun that way, isn't it, Senku? But of course, Kohaku, Chrome, and Suika, because they've been around Senku so much now, probably as long as Taiju has known him, they know exactly that. Yeah, Senku didn't just come on this trip for fun. He had a reason to be going on that trip, and it just so happened to coincide with Taiju and Yuzuriya's honeymoon, so they kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. Now, Ann Arbor question like, wait, why are the characters not aging? And my situation was like, it's so simple. It's being exposed so much to the petrification that it kind of stopped their bodies aging. That's what I'm taking away from this. But anyway, it turns out that Taiju and Yuzuriya actually went on the honeymoon to Norway. Oh my god, I just want there to be a sequel series so that we get more places visiting now. Now that Inagaki has finished the main series, we can kind of get more places being revived and built up by the Kingdom of Science though, because there's so many places in the world that, yeah, even in the time scale, I doubt everyone was survived. Like, the whole world was fully back up, which leads to my idea that if we do get that sequel series, we might actually have a full-blown skeptic villain as the main antagonist, like questioning Senku and questioning like if the Y-Man even was real. Like, it'll be a case of like Senku will be like, of course it was real, here it is right here, we've got the Kawaii Man right here. But even then, the person in question will be like, yeah, that's just something, that's just like an outfit, that's not, that doesn't tell. And even when it sees the petrification, it's like, okay, what trickery are you doing here? Like, that has to be a character that's gonna do that, even if the evidence is right in front of them, they still wouldn't believe it. And I would want that in, like, if there is a sequel series, like, the main thing to be like, just getting in Senku's way and just disproving everything, and Senku just trying his hard to convince them and not succeeding. That would be something that would be interesting. But anyway, Senku actually came on the trip to find a particular sword, which can be used for their futuristic New World crafting map, obviously referencing the time machine here, and it's a very guarded treasure, which is why Kinro and Ginro are actually guarding it, and Sai is just there in the background, just there. Yeah, we definitely didn't need all of you, but of course, again, it's just like, oh, come on, Senku, after everything we've done for you. Basically, building up the world of you, building that rocket to go to the moon, and now building a time machine. You can at least let us have this have this vacation. And Chelsea is there, obviously agreeing with Gen, and Kawaii Man, as shown in OG, has effectively called him, and I'm going to be calling him now. he's come along and traveling with them because he wishes to witness future crafting as from the members of humanity. And Chrome is just explaining like, why, man? I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see all the bad science we'll do before we see the planet actually getting struck by lightning. But it's a very different kind of lightning. And we, oh no, we see the Kawaii Man getting out of its capsule. No. Yeah, it's gonna be all right. Yeah, we know the Kawaii Man's gonna be all right. So Ryusui is the one who's actually piloting the plane, which makes sense. And Seiku's question like, "What the hell is happening?" And Ryusui's like, "I'm not sure. Something blew out our main engine, and we can't fix it." And then everyone's freaking out of like, "Oh, we're gonna die," but Seiku's like, no way." Okay, so we don't get what it. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, I just skimmed over it. So yeah, Chrome takes notice of like what is actually hitting them, and it's an icy blue fire. Before we see the plane just explode, and everyone is just falling out of it. And Ryusui's reaction to it is basically what I think my brother's reaction would be to it, of just being like, "I've never flown out of a plane like a parachute. This is so exciting." And Sai is just, that is my reaction of just like, how can you be so excited when we're pretty much gonna fall to our deaths here, Ryusui. But of course, Kaku, in one of her more smarter moments in the series, is just like, okay, everyone, we know what to do in this situation. Get in your protective positions, and we see Taiju. Like, Shoronoji will be grateful for this, because Taiju actually did something useful. He grabs the Kawaii Man. It's just like, okay, petrify us right now. 500 meters, 1 second, and everyone just gets petrified. Petrified. I want to see. So yeah. Everyone gets petrified. I'm just trying to think. Like, is everyone that? Yeah. So yeah, everyone is there. Everyone is there in that petrification state, and I do love this. I do love this moment here where we see Senku land in the waters near like a tropical island place. He gets hit by a tree in a storm gets blown off. A palm tree in a storm gets blown off. He gets hit by the revival fluid and obviously revives, but then gets clonked on the head by the tree, and that's how he gets the amnesia. So yeah. No, there is no way that's not ever not going to be funny. Just seeing Senku like, "Oh, I'm revived, clonk, oh, now I've got amnesia." We cut over to America, where it seems like they were going to Norway for the honeymoon, but us and they were bringing it back to Sinu, as we have everyone question, "Oh, the aircraft, we lost them on the radar. Rescue is impossible," and everyone just doubting it, like the fact that they might be in the water and they might die. But Sinu being Sinu is like, "Oh, one might assume that is one doesn't know Senku, so like he knows that Senku, like, yeah." Senku is not dead. He's obviously going to get out of this situation because he's Senku. And sure enough, he does, as he revives Kaku first. Now, there is some symbolism going on here, not for the Kaku Senku ship that people want to go down. But yeah, there are moments here where it's like, yeah, they obviously do care about each other. But the thing is, I've never wanted that in a romantic sense, because Senku is pretty much an asexual character. He doesn't care about that stuff. But I could see it being more like a platonic relationship, like a stronger bond than friends, but not going into the realm of like romance or a sexual nature. So yeah, they'll care about each other in like their strong bond, and they will love each other in a bond more than friendship, but it won't be in a romantic sense. And I feel like that will be the best way to establish Senku and Kaku's relationship moving forward. But yeah, they. Senku goes on and says, 10 billion points for you for curling up in a bowl to minimise heat loss. And Kaku is like, "Hey, that goes without saying, but why aren't you blushing even a little?" Like, Kaku's being a little bit flirty and like, "Oh, you've got a woman around you," which is kind of funny considering what happened in Treasure Island, how when they actually had to kiss each other, they were like, "Do we have to do this? Yes, we have to do this, Senku. Let's just get it over with." But yeah, they continue on and say, there's no time for nonsense, this is an emergency. And Koku's like, Senku, I know for a fact that you could have held me around as a statue. That would have been the easiest way to keep me alive, but yet you revived me as someone to share the risk and help push forward as your partner. And Senku agrees with it. So yeah, this is where people again establish the Koku and Senku ship. But like I said, I want it to be more of a platonic relationship, not a like oh, we're gonna reproduce and have offspring with each other. I mean, they might have that in the future, but again, it will be more like, yeah, we are a couple, but not in the way that Taiju and Yuzuri are a couple. And I feel like that will be, like I said, that would be the best way to leave their relationship off. But yeah, Senku probably also did this because even though he doesn't like to admit it, he needs someone to talk to. Because you remember what happened when he was all alone and he had no one to talk to. He nearly went insane. Probably would have started doing what Suika did in South America, which we'll get into. We'll get into talking about South America in a bit. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of the case. Like, he just wanted someone to talk to and to bounce off, and it makes sense for Kaku based on who gets revived next, and you'll see why in a second. But anyway, Kaku just splee bits her way over to the palm tree. She says, "As a woman who lived by war, I'm ready to build whatever we need. Here's on the open sea. We'll bring back civilization." We see her catch a fish, which oh my god, I didn't even notice this. Like, she catches this huge fish, and Senku's just like, what the hell, Kohaku? As we get her nickname, there's a lot of nicknames for the Kingdom of Science in this chapter, but her nickname is Aqua Warrior. Kohaku has joined the party, as we see them using the palm tree that knocked Senku out to build a raft for them. And Kohaku mentions that, oh, we really got lucky, the storm may have helped, but I never thought we'd find so much driftwood, seaweed, and other floating debris. And it's a little too convenient that they're all lodged, that there's always a logical answer behind every coincidence. The fact is, we're in the Sargasso Sea, but people better know it as the Bermuda Triangle. But of course, Kohaku, not being from the 21st century, she has no idea what Senku is talking about. She's like, yeah, I've never heard about it, Senku. And they mention, like, oh, debris and floaters gather here, and Kohaku, like, knowing Ryusui and his improvised piloting skills, he probably read the winds and water to ensure that they splashed down in that particular area. And even though they still even though they're still questioning where does that leave them, Senku explains that they say that escaping from the Bermuda Triangle is 10 billion% impossible. But of course, this being Senku, he's obviously going to get out of it. As we see the earpiece activating again, and they spot Chrome and Suika. You see what they're doing here. First he revived Kohaku, then it was Chrome, then it was Suika. That's his original Kingdom of Science team when he first discovered Ishigami Fish. Like, Kohaku was the first one to officially join, then it was Chrome, and then it was Suika. So yeah, the three OG members were the first to be revived. So nice little nod there, and does make the most logical sense for storytelling wise, but not practically wise, as Chrome actually is going to bring up in a bit. Also, I've just got to mention how nice it is that we finally get Kohaku has joined the party caption, Chrome has joined the party caption, and Suika has joined the party caption. I just love that we actually get that. But yeah, Chrome actually brings up a good point here. When he says, you really used the last bit of revival fluid on us. Should have saved it for Taiju, right? That stamina monster might come in handy. And yeah, that is kind of a good point. But Senku has a good comeback here, where he says, "I'll probably die waiting around to get that lucky," because yeah, he pretty much has no idea where Taiju actually is at this point. So best bet is to go with the next best thing, which is obviously Chrome and Suika, because even though they're not as strong as Taiju physically, they're still a million times stronger than Senku ever is, which is why he says, anyway, we need a labour force. And I love Chrome and Suika's capture scene where they say, oft inspired science user Chrome, but then hard working science user Suika. Yeah, that's pretty apt, because Suika did work hard to revive everyone in South America. As we see, there are more coming together, and we see Chrome and Suika just making just gutting fish. But Senku says, fish oil, nice. This is what powdered lamps in the Edo period. So get a little bit of history as well. I never knew about that. That fish was used to power lamps. So nice on you for mentioning that, Senku. And he says, we can ignite the fish oil to boil water and collect the drippings. This simple still gives us drinking water, and the palm trees can yield coconut sugar fragments that get booze, which can obviously produce alcohol. And Kohaku's like question like alcohol, but Kohaku, you already know what they need alcohol for. That was the whole point. I don't know why she said that line, but yeah, they're gonna. Chrome here, it's like, they're going to take the alcohol and make the revival fluid, and then they get more revival fluid as they find Ukyo next. And Senku says, yeah, the only problem is that there's no nitric acid around here, and that is kind of the key. Yeah, no nitric acid means no revival fluid, because Chrome does mention like, we're going to be building a mini revival fluid factory, and yeah, Senku brings up that no nitric acid means no revival fluid, and all they can do now for now is bring back civilization one painstaking step at a time. So going back to the good old days, and this is where we get the callbacks to Suika in South America, because we see like her chibi little pose here of just like I'm starving, which, oh my god, that's gonna bring tears to my eye. Before Kaku says, why can't we just make more of that life-giving whatever acid? Like, she's like, yeah, why can't we just make more of the revival fluid? And Suika brings up the fact like, yeah, it's impossible without platinum and a bunch of other science supplies. So I like the fact that Suika is finally explaining scientific stuff to Kohaku, showing how much she has actually grown throughout the series, and she even manages to trouble Kohaku with something here, where she says, that's why when I made it, I saved up lots of poop over many years. And Kohaku's like, years? Her poop? Yeah, you do not want to go down that road, Kohaku. Suika continues on and says Senku left her the information about how to make the nitric acid, and she had to read all of it before she remembers. Like, wait a second, Senku, you wrote down a method that uses a big sap of energy. And Senku's like, yeah, too bad there's not a big sap of energy, Suika. But Suika says, if only we could use the conditional current from lightning. And this is where Chrome gets an idea, and instead of like, wait a second, when our plane came down, there was a storm just like the one that's happening around us right now, and it sure seemed like the lightning was flowing in that moment. It looked like icy blue flame, and this is where Senku gets the idea of saying, like, I see what's going on. It's a good job that you two are here, because you never let me down. Major praise from Senku there. Like, he's always relied on Chrome and Suika and never disappointed them. And it goes to show what a trio of science users can do. And he finally gets why the plane fell out of the sky. But by this time, they're gonna harness the nasty force of nature with science. As we see him lift his finger up to the sky, and it looks as though like he's getting like lightning powers from his finger as Chrome is like, with that icy blue flame, what is it like? Is that even possible? And Senku mentions like, it's Saint Elmo's flame, which was from what I can remember from what I've heard about it. It was it was it was used as a way to make the mass of ships glow. I feel like this might have been because of the fact that it can get quite foggy. It can get quite foggy, and lighthouses wouldn't have been able to see it. So I feel like it was used to like um, to signal lighthouses like, hey, this is where the ship is, and this is where we're going, something like that. I assume that's what it was, that's what it was all about. And it was thought to be a miracle brought about by Saint Elmo, patron saint of sailors. But of course we all know it better as one of Ace's moves from One Piece. Yeah, I had to make that reference. Senku also states that in truth it's more like our first lightning that happened directly under thunderclouds, and when enough static energy builds up, it looks like fire. It what it is leaping from the tallest point in the air, in flat and empty open waters that trigger easily around all pointed objects, which includes Senku's hair, Senku's spiky hair, as we see it just generate the St. Elmo's flame on top of the palm tree, which was being used as sort of like an antenna for everyone. And oh, come on back. Yeah, so we see Senku and Koku go down underwater to gather the supplies and everything, as we see Senku's corned beef can. Hey Senku, I've got one of those. Yeah. Corned beef sandwich. Perfect late night snack. Yeah, corned beef. Really, really good substance. Corned beef is one of my favorite foods, I must say. And yeah, I did just make a joke. I did just make a corned beef sandwich upstairs just to make that whole segment right there. Because I am dedicated to this series. So after retrieving the supplies, they have Suika. The cotton candy machine. Good times. But of course, the good times are when when they were pumping for iron, and we see it like here, right here, a massive callback to when they did their first big science project together to produce the iron, which that is going to be the thumbnail of the review. Just that image of just them like making the St. Elmo's flame by pumping lots of air to make the fire blow as hot as it needs to be before we see like this super high voltage discharge produces nitric dioxide in that pocket of air, so that obviously gets them the revival fluid, the nitric acid that they need, which is obviously their miracle fluid, and they're able to revive Ukyo, which is the Sonar Man, Tsukasa, which is obviously history's strongest Japanese primate high schooler, Chelsea, which is the Gregorius geographer, and Sai is the meek mathematician. But of course, I wanna point out the fact that hey, Tsukasa punched a shark to death. Hey, he punched a lion to death, so why not a shark? Forget jumping the shark. In this situation, it's punching the shark. I can't believe I just made that pun right there. And of course, now that Sai and Chelsea are back, they're able to pinpoint and triangulate the currents to find out, hey, our Desirous Captain Ryusui is over there, and they go and find Ryusui, and he's like, the seas are mine to command. Oh, come on, Ryusui, you already commanded them when you were the captain of the Perseus, so don't try and act like this is the first time that you've gotten the seas all to yourself. But yeah, Senku says, oh, once we find ourselves a sail, you can get us home, right? And Ryusui's like, who do you think I am? Yeah, of course I can. And then obviously they revive everyone else. So Ginru, Kinru, Fran, and of course Gen. And Gen is just like being his usual self, just questioning everything of like, how can you possibly make one though? There's seriously nothing out here to craft a giant sail with. But of course, nothing is impossible when you're dealing with the Kingdom of Science, and since they have Yuzuria there, the the crazy streamers, she's just able instantly to make this giant sail that, hey, we can create a boat here. Now this boat seems to be very similar to the boat design that magma suggested when they were first traveling out to sea. It's very similar to that. Before Senku took over with the Perseus' design. So yeah, nice callback there. If that's the reference they're actually going for there. And of course, since they're still lost at sea and everyone is just completely worrying about them in America, we have Stanley just going around trying to find them and trying to discover where they actually are, and everyone's just like, "Oh, it's hopeless, Sinu. Don't worry about it." But of course, somebody has to come in and be like, "Hey, Sinu, you're right to worry. You're right to worry, and you were right. They are alive and they're back here." As we see, like just this giant, just like the sails just covering everything and just making this, like, I guess the Perseus model 5000 or something like that. But we also see Ryusui in the balloon himself, which, yeah, that is Ryusui in a nutshell right there. So Sinu's like, oh, even on the ocean, you terraformed a bit of scientific civilization to push forward. How truly elegant! So we get all the catchphrases in this chapter as well. And Senku's like, yeah, sorry it took so long, but we have the treasure right here. Now a lot of people are like wondering, like, where is Kazuki? Like, a lot of people are assuming he's dead, but no, you do not kill off Kazuki off screen. He has done so much for the series, so yeah, I refuse to believe that. If it's not on screen, it didn't happen. So yeah, it turns out that the great treasure is, according to Gimru, just some gravel. But Kawaku steps in. Is like, oh, even I know that simple stones can be scientific treasures. Again, showing how far she's come. Because if you remember at the beginning of the series, where Seiko was getting all excited over Chrome's rock collection, Kawaku was just like, it's just a bunch of dumb rocks. What good are they? But now she's actually seen the value of those rocks. So yeah, she's like, yeah, these are going to be important to us. And Sinu's like, indeed, this is the only able to be obtained in Norway and can't be manufactured. And it's ultra high protein silicon metal, which is used in semiconductors. So now they can actually get on to making the futuristic space map. And Cork like, first St. Elmo's fire, now this. You science users take every last thing the Earth has to offer and turns them into a weapon. And Senka's like, the Earth? I'm afraid not, Kohaku. With knowledge, no such limitation. We're out to save every last human and to make a time machine that will help us do that. The resources on Earth aren't enough. Where we've got no heliums for one, and Gen's like, oh no, you do not mean what I think you mean, Senku. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like, yeah, you're gonna say, are we going to space here, Senku? It's kind of callback to that. And Senku's like, here with semiconductors, and it'll be a science crafting bonanza, because our next mission involves terraforming other planets to construct cities in space. Yep, that did just happen. And of course, everyone has the face of like, what the hell did you just say, Senku? Like, seriously, they're just there like, you are joking, Senku. But of course, Senku doesn't joke when it comes to science. So, yeah, this is the thing that I feel like Inagaki is kind of experimenting with. Like, okay, will the audience receive this? Will this be a positive reception? And can I make a sequel series out of this? Because, yeah, even though Shonoji and Party had doubts about like whether this is actually going to lead to a sequel series, like, the hints are there, like the fake hints of like the story is not quite over yet. So yeah, he probably Inagaki probably thought about this when he was thinking about the final battle with Y-Man on the moon, and like, can I actually get away with this? Can this actually become possible? Because this is leading into the realm of like science fiction, like just going bananas, and that would be amazing. Like we got the realistic science in part one, but now in the second part of like the Doctor Stone legacy, we get full on science fiction or science theories, things that can be possible, just haven't been proven yet. And really, the fact that it shows like a city on the moon, like who wouldn't want to see that? Like, who wouldn't want to see a series dedicated to just building a city on the moon? Now, also this might lead into something else further down the line. A theory that I had, which if Inagaki is going to go there, then I would love that. But yeah, I like the fact that Senku acknowledges like, yeah, everything on Earth is not enough, so we have to go back into space, which means we might actually get Suika and Chrome in space at last, which is something I wanted at the end of Doctor Stone but didn't actually get. But please, 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 Inagaki, do that and I will love you forever. Please do that. But yeah, going back to this, I just want to see like in The Simpsons where they do the "It's Bart's moon party from outer space." I want to see it doing that. It's Senku's moon party from outer space. I just want to see that as well. That'll be hilarious. But yeah, Senior is just like, "Here, we'll surpass the 21st century to achieve an elegant future. This is the dam of cosmic pioneering." And of course, Ryusui being Ryusui is like, I decide it all. After 200 million years of human science, everything is a crafting material. The very planets of our universe are giant rocks that help us save humanity. Because yeah, they technically haven't saved all of humanity yet. So yeah, this is and in short, a bunch of Doctor Stones. So this is kind of like Inagaki being like, yeah, we are going here, we are making Doctor Stones, the series. And so Rico and Chrome come in with like roadmaps of like, right, we're going to build these cities, what's first, here's the roadmaps. And Seiko's like, you know it, time to get excited. And that's where the one-shot chapter ends. So, oh my word, few things to unpack here, which we will do before we wrap it up. Okay, so is this leading into a sequel series? I think so. Yeah, that's my main thing. Now, again, Polyjams and Shonoji, they're a bit more skeptical about it, and so was Ann Arbor as well. But I feel like if Inagaki can pull this off, it'll be a great contrast to like, okay, we've got Doctor Stone first part, realistic science, Doctor Stone second part, futuristic science, like science theories that haven't been proven yet but could potentially be proven real. Now, Ann Arbor mentioned that yeah, he probably will lose a lot of its like charm because of not being able to explain it, but I feel like we will get explanations. They'll just be the science theory explanations, and like I said, science starts off as theories and just proving them right. So yeah, now what I feel like this is going to lead to, like obviously Senku said like, okay, we need to terraform the planets to build this time machine. So I feel like if there is going to be a sequel to this, time machine won't be activated until the very, very, very end, which I'd be fine with that. Now, in terms of the terraforming, I don't know if you guys know about this, but scientists at NASA discovered in 2015, which obviously Senku would have been watching NASA videos then. They discovered a planet, if I can find the actual planet, Dr. Stone, here we go, called Kepler 452b. That's which was found by the Kepler, which was found by the Kepler craft that was sent to explore planets that are further away from us. Now, somebody was mentioning like, oh, I really wish we got interstellar travel, which I feel like is gonna come up if there's a sequel series, and just Seika just using it to travel to Kepler 452b, because it is seen as a planet that's fairly similar to Earth, but just doesn't have but just hasn't been terraformed yet or made into a civilization like what Earth has done. But my theory is that what if Senku actually gets there, and that's where the origin of the Y-Man actually came from, and it's a much more advanced civilization. It's still a humanoid civilization, but much more advanced. And obviously evolved differently from us, and they were the ones that infected the Y-Man in the first place. So maybe it can explain its origin of like where this actually came from in the first place, what gave them this idea, and maybe the Kingdom of Science and everyone will be seen as the alien invading force to those people as well, which would be a great role reversal, because usually it's like aliens come to us and we see them like, oh, alien invaders, but we're going to like a quote unquote alien planet and being seen as the alien invaders to the other civilization, which I would honestly love that. Like, it would be a great role reversal, great way to establish future conflicts. Now, Pyjams did mention as well that we might actually get into some politics about what might be happening, what might be ethical to do, which I'd be all right as well, because there's still so much like this. This just brings out so many different ideas, and honestly, I'd love it if like Magma was in charge of one of these planets, because that would bring his character full circle. He started off as wanting to rule just a simple village, but now he gets to rule an entire planet. That would be perfect for his character. But yeah, just so many ideas just running through of like what the series can actually do, and the potential that Inagaki has with this storytelling. Now he's just opened up a whole different can of worms, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. If he actually goes through with this plan and be like, yes, I am doing Dr. Stone Part 2, Dr. Stones, no question about it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on this. No, it was a giant chapter to cover, but I'm really glad I was glad to come back and do this, and I really hope at some point in the future, I feel like Inagaki will have to sit down and really think about this. So if he says like, yes, I'm doing it, but it's going to take a while because I've got so much to unpack, so many plot details to work out here. It might take a year or two for it to actually come to fruition, so just be patient. I will be fine with that. No, with the knowledge that yes, it is coming. You're just gonna have to wait a bit. So yeah. Anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.